It's the EPOCH update, and we'll be reviewing the 4 articles I published this past week. The first one I'll mention is a series within a series. So I've been doing a series called Abortion's Arguments, where I present a lot of the pro-abortion arguments that are used and consider them. So within that series, I have a 3-part sub-series that considers pro-abortionists in their own words. So I basically don't write much. I just found some interesting stories that they had to tell and let them tell it for themselves. And these are people who do everything from blaming right-wing political administrations to for their abortion, to claiming that God has led them to become an abortion quote-unquote doctor, to really just astonishing tales. I mean, really shows you how troubled these poor people are who end up becoming involved in abortions in one way or another. It's very disturbing, and it's very sad, and it's very heartbreaking all around, that's for sure. And the interesting thing is all these arguments that are pro-abortion, because I mean, when I want to do something and I know there's nothing wrong with it, I don't feel the need to come up with arguments in favor of it or justify my actions, you know? So I think that tells you something right there. Another article is on a series that I'm doing considering the serpent seed theory. And this one is about whether Jesus taught the serpent seed theory in Matthew 13 in his parable of the sower, because serpent seed theorists like to appeal to certain texts and then they read their theory into them in an eisegetical manner. So for those of you not aware, in short, the serpent seed theory claims that Cain is the literal son of Satan because Eve had sex with Satan in the Garden of Eden. Yeah, that's what it is. And so I've been considering this theory and basically refuting every argument I could find that is used in favor of it, because those arguments simply don't hold any water. They're not cogent. So in this case, they're reading into a parable that there's a serpent seed. And so we consider whether that's a fact or not. Now, another article is called Notes on U.S. Perspectives on Science and Religion. And it's notes on that because that is the title of a study that was done. And so I just derive a few key points from that study and provide you the link to that study. And it's exactly that. It's about what do people in the U.S. think about science and religion. And it's very interesting because it talks about how there were these great sociological predictions about how, oh, well, you know, when science becomes more and more prominent, then religion will just kind of go away as some kind of primitive superstition, but that is just simply not the case. And a lot of it, of course, depends on how you define science and how you define religion. But they find that people generally appeal to both for their forming of their worldview and their opinions. They'll consider religious and scientific information. What I found most interesting, and I hit upon in the article, is that 2 areas that the study claims a lot of people reject science on are the issues of the Big Bang and evolution. Of course, the study doesn't go into the fact, I see it as a fact, that, take for instance the Big Bang. People might not necessarily deny the Big Bang theory if it's a simple reference to the fact that the universe had a beginning. But when you take that fact and you philosophically conclude that therefore nothing exploded for no reason and made everything without meaning, then that's a separate issue, right? And so if they think that the Big Bang Theory is supposed to conclude or make them conclude or believe somehow that that's what it means, that we're all here by a cosmic accident, then that's why they would reject it. And it's kind of the same with evolution. If you define evolution to merely mean change over time in organisms, well, again, no one's going to deny that. But if you mean that, again, we're here due to a long series of happy accidents, then that's what people will deny. And the study really isn't specific enough on these key points to really iron out what the real issues behind the acceptance or rejection of these key points are. And the last article was just on this ongoing discussion, debate that is going on in culture and the media about, well, do we call Muslim terrorists or don't we? And the continuous denial that Muslim terrorists are not Muslim terrorists because Islam is a religion of peace, and therefore if you're not being peaceful, you're not being a Muslim. You know, that kind of a thing. And I actually went into the White House's website and pulled up some press briefings from the time that Osama bin Laden was killed, and quoted the portions where what's being discussed is how we the American taxpayers funded Muslim funeral rites for him. Now, how could the same administration tell us that Muslim terrorists are not Muslim terrorists, that they don't represent Islam, but on the other hand give Osama bin Laden, who I guess is not supposed to be a Muslim, we give him a Muslim burial at sea? How does that make sense? And so it's interesting when you actually read what the statements were at the time, how specific they were about the issues. And so this is just one of those, great polemical things, I guess, polemics and just ongoing concepts about how the media is used to push ideas. I mean, the media is not in the business of really informing us as it is in indoctrinating us, which really won't be surprising to anybody, I think. So there you go. That's the articles I published this past week. And I'll put the links to them in the info section. As usual, I'll mention that if you would, even if you don't want to read it, just open up all of them, because I get paid by Examiner as per traffic and as per subscriptions. So if you open the articles up, maybe share them in your social networking sites, and if you subscribe for free, which just means you'll get an email whenever I publish something, then you can help support me financially, and it doesn't cost you a single penny. How do you like that? What a deal. Thank you for listening, and thank you for checking out the articles.